It's Election Day, May 20th, 2014. The polls are going to close in a little bit less than 8 hours. And I was just sitting here. I was thinking, what would I say if I win, and what would I want to say if I lose? As I puzzled this a little bit, I thought, my message would be precisely the same either way. So even though we're yet hours away from learning what's going to happen at the polls, I will deliver my victory speech now. You see, I don't think God measures us by the races we win, but rather I think He concerns Himself with the races we run. He is concerned about the things that we are doing, the stands we take, and whether we are successful in the short term or not matters not to Him, because this I do know: in the end, good will triumph. I know that our fight is not wasted, even at times when it seems grim. Now, in this election, there are a number of races, and they are each important in their own right. But for me, there are two that have been paramount in my mind. They seem so important, so necessary. And the reason they do is because these races are about moral imperatives that we must fight for regardless. The first is the anti-discrimination ordinance in Pocatello. Without doubt, this law is the most discriminatory law on the books in Pocatello today. Now, how can anyone say that a non-discrimination ordinance is discriminatory? I would encourage you to read the text of this ordinance, and what you will find is that it creates a new class of elite. And more sinister is the fact that it also creates a new class of victims. This ordinance does not create equal rights. It simply raises one class of people above another. This ordinance is pure progressive evil, and it must be defeated, and it will be defeated, because good always triumphs in the end. The second race that seems very important to me, and maybe I'm prejudiced a little bit, but it is my own race. You see, for me, the whole thing distills down to one issue. That issue is life. When the wizards in our legislature were putting the Idaho Healthcare Exchange together, they had an opportunity to protect life. There was an amendment that would have given people the choice to either include or exclude coverage for medical abortions. Now, the wizards in our legislature, they were afraid that if they approved the amendment, their health care exchange would not be approved. And so they placed the exchange on one side of the scales. They placed life on the other. And for reasons I will never comprehend and will never justify, they determined that the health care exchange is more weighty and more worthy than life. They categorized unborn children as nothing more than collateral damage as they ran them under their pagan wills. And then they knowingly, willfully dipped their hands in the blood of dead and dying children. They did this consciously. They did this selfishly. They did this knowing full well what they were doing. And their agenda, their need for power, I don't know what it was, drove them to choose death over life. So in this campaign, who are the real losers? They are those that knowingly, consciously stain their hands with the blood of dead and dying children, or with that of sin and corruption and perversion. They are those who willfully and rebelliously abandon God, faith, and morality for a love of perversion and unnatural things. They are those who instinctively know that they should become informed, that they should join the fight for those things which are right. They know that they should do something, and they do nothing. And who are the victors? You see, this is the exciting thing. It doesn't really matter what occurs at the polls. Win or lose, the victors will remain the same. The victors are those who actively join the fight for life, for liberty, for God, for freedom, because their hands do not bear the stains of sin and corruption and blood. I look around and I see more people committed and standing with us now than even stood with us 1 month ago. These are among the winners. And if we could see the hosts of heaven, we would proclaim, even as Elisha did, "Fear not, for those that be with us are more than those that be with them." And my friends, that is a true and solid victory. So where do we go from here? I can tell you that I have already charted my course. I know what I'm going to do, and I knew that I would do this regardless of whether I win or lose in today's election. I know that there is no real power in holding a seat in the Idaho State Legislature. I would still be just one voice. The real power comes from the voice of the people, a body of people joined together in one cause, unitedly shouting the same thing and doing what Thomas Jefferson told us to do 200 years ago. He said of us that we are to bind our government down from mischief with the chains of the Constitution. This is my next mission, and this is where I will go. And I will ask you to go there with me. But for today, let us celebrate our victory. I'm Lance Earl. I'll see you soon.